Hi, and welcome back to Your Future, Your Finances. We're again speaking with the County Executive of Montgomery County, Mr. Isiah Leggitt. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
We talked about a lot of different topics in that last segment. My question is, do you ever work or get frustrated with getting the message out to all of the constituents of Montgomery County, whether it be online? Do you find that they're all aware of all of these things, like the Marriott and the Purple Line?
Well, on the major ones such as the Marriott, that's somewhat easier. But the things that really impact the day-to-day lives of people throughout the county is sometimes a little bit more difficult because the media is not carrying it as well as they should. It's not the sensational kinds of things. But people are impacted by what we call often small things. What happens in terms of my transportation, what is happening as it relates to some of the issues within our community and so forth. It's those kinds of issues that I think makes it much more difficult. And people are so overwhelmed oftentimes with so much information that they don't have the time to decipher and find a notice or information related to something that government is providing. And that becomes somewhat frustrating because there are an awful lot of very good things that we are doing, and that message is not out there. But the first time you do something wrong, that flies.
Yeah, right. I suppose that's always been difficult, though. Perhaps it's easier now to get the message out with online
we have more
and
tools,
the website.
but sometimes you have too many tools. And as a result of that, you simply become overwhelmed with all that information that's out there.
Yep, absolutely. Another question I had for you, if you don't mind me asking, is let's say someone was watching this and they would be interested in getting into politics as a profession. Any advice for them?
Well, first of all, I would encourage people to, in fact, get engaged because one of the things that I think we suffer from is that we do not get enough people who are interested in public service, interested in politics per se. And if we don't do that, then we are missing an opportunity for great people with an awful lot to offer in the county. My advice is if you're interested in public service, you're interested in running for a political office, is to do the very best job that you can in what you're already doing. And that becomes a stepping stone, a transition into maybe serving the public. Because people are going to judge you based on your character, your integrity, knowledge, ability to communicate, but also how effective have you been in what you are currently doing. And if you are not successful in that, if you do not show that you are capable of actually doing the things that you're currently doing, it makes it difficult for you to make that transition to go to say, well, now I want to represent you, and I want to, in fact, be your servant. When you haven't had the track record. It doesn't mean that you have to have a track record as a lawyer and going through the normal progression to go into politics, but whatever it is that you're doing, be successful in that, and that becomes the best stepping stone, a transition to serving the public generally.
And do you think working in the public sector is generally helpful? Like if someone wanted to be in public office, they don't necessarily make their first step go out and just run for something. Right. They could work in an agency, and that could be helpful experience.
It certainly can, and I think people, especially today, are looking for people with broad experience, and they don't necessarily want always to have every elected official who's been someone who's been in the public sector per se, heading public sector kinds of entities as opposed to having a broader experience. And you do other things certainly beyond your job, but engaged in the community. It does not have to be public service per se, but if you're simply working with the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or your PTA, all of those things are valuable tools in terms of a transition to a higher position in public service.
Very good. There was an initiative that we wanted to make sure we talked about, an initiative that you said is going on currently in the county.
Yes, we've had a very strong initiative over the last few weeks of a number of good public projects that the county has in fact opened. Just in the past week, I had 5 separate ribbon cuttings in 7 days. And people say, wow, how did all that happen? Well, it happened going back some years ago when I came into the office in the midst of the recession. I had the sort of counterintuitive sense that, A, we have a large number of things we need to do in the county in terms of construction projects that are simply languishing. This is the time to move those projects forward. In the midst of the recession, I got a lot of pushback as a result of that. But I decided that we were going to go forward because, A, I realized that the borrowing capacity to borrow money for bonds was low. I also realized that the construction cost was cheap. And so I went forward, moved forward many very good projects that otherwise would not have happened. As a result of that, in just another week or so, we'll be announcing the 50th project that we have constructed, major projects in the county, and we did so at a time
50th?
50th.
Wow,
and that's
fantastic.
a pretty impressive number. That is by far more than we've ever done in the history of the county, going back several administrations. That's a huge number of projects. So I'm very delighted with that.
Ribbon cutting or projects, construction,
Libraries,
buildings.
recreation centers, a new public safety training academy, maintenance depots, liquor warehouses, all of those things serving the public in Montgomery County. Transit center that we had challenges with at one point in time. All of those things are now completed. 50 projects in a relatively short period of time.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Glad
it.
to be here.
All right. All the best to you. And you're watching Your Future, Your Finances. I'm your host, Brian Kuhn. We'll be right back.